Good morning, and welcome back to Doing It Live with Doomlink in Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. This is my second sit-down session with this game, and I think this translates to the third part for the series. I really don't have a clear memory of how to play the game, believe it or not. I only sat down very briefly with it, relatively speaking. And I guess I've got a clear memory of how to play. It's just some of the controls are not as obvious to me as I was expecting them to be. So I think, yeah, so I can conjure these like so. And I had to actually check the controls. I had to go back through the tips section here to actually remember how to erase these. I think I hold ZR like that, and that removes them. Okay. I don't really think there's anything more for me to know than that. Hopefully not, because if there is, then I'm not going to know it. I'm going to have to check the tips again in order to familiarize myself with the controls. I think this is a symptom of me playing lots of different games during the week, and also of the fact that I've only played this game once, so the controls have yet to completely be assimilated into my mind. So let me just bring up my chat, and then we will see how we fare. I really don't know what to expect. Just to go over my impressions, very briefly, of the game. I'm enjoying it so far. It's not something that I feel detracts too violently, or rather departs too violently from the original series, and there's nothing to really dislike so far. I'm enjoying it. Beverage today is Cooper's Best Extra Stout, as opposed to their not best extra stout. You know, the one that's not quite as good that they presumably don't bottle, because there is no other stout that they make, and certainly no other extra stout. Cheers. I'm actually going to redo that intro, because I don't really need to introduce the video by explaining that I don't remember how to use the controls. It's kind of silly. I don't know what gamer brain is, but I'm assuming that relates to what I was saying. Stout varies a lot. So modern expressions of stout would be almost like a dark base upon which you can create lots of different flavors, whereas your more traditional stout, I guess, might be sort of dark chocolate, nutty flavors, not necessarily like your Newcastle brown sort of flavor, but within the region of that. Obviously, Guinness is a form of stout, but that's your Irish stout, which is they pump it with nitro. Nitrogen isn't necessarily a requirement for stout at all. Not at all. As AJ says, it tastes like beer. Alright, I'm doing the introduction again, just to be clear. One of the annoying things is that I need to figure out how to use FFmpeg and cut up the videos without it causing a freeze at the start. It's like a keyframe issue which I need to try to iron out. It's not a great way to start videos, but anyway. Good morning, and welcome back to the Doing It Live with Doomlink series. We are here in Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and I believe that this is the third part on the channel. For me personally, this is the second sit-down session with this game, and just to clarify how I feel about the game, because going into it I was a little bit apprehensive, wasn't completely sure if I was going to enjoy it or not. Turns out that I am enjoying it so far, and I'm excited to see what it has to offer going forward. Interestingly enough, sorry, I was distracted briefly by something in the chat. No, I will not be playing Link's Awakening Remake as a priority after this. I've got lots of other things to record, so I don't really need to replay Link's Awakening with modern graphics. I may record Link's Awakening, the original game, like on Game Boy Color, not the actual black and white one, but yeah, the Game Boy Color Link's Awakening. I may play that one. In fact, I think the cartridge is within reach. By the way, I don't remember if I want to be on the right side or the left side for this recording. Where is... Oh, there it is. It's the big fucking cartridge, of course. And Zelda Link's Awakening right there. On Game Boy Color. I will be recording that at some point in the future. Always good to have an impromptu visual demonstration of game cartridges. Oh, it seems that when you stay still for a while, Zelda actually turns to look at you like, what's going on? Are you going to play or not? Do not fret, Zelda. I am just about to begin. I just must take a drink first. What was I going to say before I was distracted by that comment in the chat? That's not to say you guys are a distraction. It's just sometimes when I'm in full flow, as they say, it can take me off my thought process. Interestingly enough, that's what I was going to say, the game was in standby, and I did notice that game performance has not been great. It turns out it's not the fault of my Switch, it's the fault of the game, and of the fact that I guess Nintendo do not take game development seriously anymore, and find that it's completely acceptable for a game to release with performance issues on their main flagship hardware. And I shouldn't even call it flagship hardware. They, at this stage, only have one console that's in development and being sold. The 3DS is no longer available, as I understand it. So, yeah, it's quite sad that they have allowed themselves to fall to that very low standard of not even coming out with games that perform correctly, or as you would expect, but that's what they've done. I guess we don't have to use a bed here, but we'll do that, seeing as though that's what's already equipped. Of course, you are not a distraction. It is very welcomed that you communicate with me while I'm live. Okay, this is something that we can learn. With ZR, not R. I really need to get used to these controls. You learned the boulder echo. I can view it in Notebook, but I can imagine that the boulder is something that you would roll, and also something that can be used as a weight. We haven't yet experienced any of these things being used as a weight. Kind of interesting considering that this would be a common feature in Zelda puzzles of the past. We still haven't seen it yet, but definitely a boulder, needless to say, would be the heaviest thing that we currently have. Even heavier than a bed, incidentally. So I'm assuming it can also be rolled, so maybe that would be useful at some point, whereas these, I'm assuming, can only stay in one place. I'd like to test that out, actually. I want to familiarize myself with this new item. Yes. Well, not so much roll. We can, however, push it. Oh, we've got a lot more control over the camera than I first expected. I just did that out of instinct. I didn't know that I could do that. Well, that's very good. Okay, well, there's a boulder down there. I don't really need it down there, though. So, we will cancel that, or remove it. Drop down to bed. Just saw a lovely frame drop there again. I'm not going to comment on it, I guess is what I would say, but it is annoying to see that. Alright, so how about we drop some boxes, I suppose would be the word. Crates might be another word. Wooden box. They are indeed buoyant. We've got some money down there. Can we dive under? Yes, we can. We can dive under, and I remember that actually from the end of the last recording. We were able to swim without much issue. I could just jump there. Sometimes when you walk into a surface, you do automatically climb. So for example, when I go from the water up onto here, I don't have to actually press the jump button in order to perform that function. We just automatically climb, so yeah, turns out in some situations you will have to jump, and then in others, not really needed. What should I do here? I think we can destroy things that are here, can we not? Maybe we can't. Maybe it's expected that we drop a boulder on it to destroy it, because again, that is something quite heavy that we do have. Destroy that. Because I'm assuming that summoning a boulder here will... Oh, well, not so much destroy it as weigh it down. That works. Of course, we have a limited time that we can stay under the water for, but that was not really a risk of any kind. We definitely weren't going to drown under there, or under the water in that moment. Now, I'm interested to see if this is going to be a full dungeon that we go through. Maybe not, because we can see that the dungeon is being eaten away out. Another rift. This might just be a passage to get to the next stage of the game rather than a full dungeon that we're expected to complete and then even kill a boss for. Makes me wonder how the bosses are going to play out in this game. Are they puzzle-based bosses? Probably. Because we don't actually have a weapon, per se. We've got a staff that can conjure things, but yeah, it's not really a weapon. We can spin around with it and cut grass, but that's not going to do very much for bosses, you wouldn't imagine. Sorry, I wasn't really reading the dialogue there. We're getting away from the rift, that's the moral of the story. Oh, and we probably don't want to turn back that way. I was just thinking, well, okay, never mind. I've changed my mind. I will not go that way after all. Let's drop into the water and swim as fast as we can. It turns out the water is moving a lot faster than I first thought. It seemed like Zelda was really struggling to keep her head above water there. Well, we were out of there in no time at all. Definitely not a dungeon that we're expected to pass through. You're awake. Good. Let's go. Not a huge amount of concern shown for us there, Try, but thank you. Thank you regardless. Oh, is this a different rock? Okay, you learned the rock echo, so presumably just a smaller version of what we've already learned. I guess there might be size-related constraints to using the boulder in certain situations, so if we want something a bit smaller, a bit more, a little more usable in smaller spaces, we can just use the regular rock, which is fine. Can't go any further that way. Don't know if it's worth diving here. Should we see if there's anything hidden? I like to do things like this because it's, if you are more adventurous than the average person, you tend to be rewarded for this in adventure games. Lift? Gee, she's freaking strong. I don't think I'd be able to lift that. In fact, I'm certain that I wouldn't be able to. It's too awkwardly sized. Zelda's got some serious muscles. And we're outside again. Where are we? Oh, apparently I should always check behind waterfalls. Well, I may do that this time. Let me do that. Maybe that map thingy that person gave you can help us figure it out. I hate the word thingy. That should never ever be encouraged for children to use as a word. I don't think that looks very solid, does it not? Surface with B? No, can't check behind that waterfall. It doesn't look like it. I think that's why I wasn't prompted to do so. It looks like it's against a solid surface. So. There you go. But of course, in previous Zelda games, checking behind waterfalls was definitely something worth doing. I'm just wondering if I'm actually going to get something from these boxes at any point. That's why I'm picking them up and destroying them. Our first enemy. A monster. Okay, well I know that we can spin, but I don't know if we can do much else. Zelda, can you fight monsters? She's nodding with confidence. I don't know if that's really... How about I push this onto you? I guess it can act as a shield. I don't know if I can really conjure by dropping, if that makes sense. So conjure in the air and then drop on top of enemies. That could be a form of attack. I think at the moment I just have to remember, and I may as well save seeing as though we've made it this far. I just need to remember how to do the twirling. How does the twirling work? No. I need to sneeze. Alright, let's look at the controls. So spin is R. Very good. It turns out spin is not an attack, so we are therefore expected to make use of these things. So if I use my knowledge of previous games, I can throw a fucking pot at you and then you're dead. How about that? Learn with ZR. Pressing the wrong buttons again. Apparently we can learn slime, or Zol in this case. I was not expecting to be able to learn the echo of a monster. That's really interesting. Did you learn to echo that monster? Defeating new monsters leaves a shimmer, which allows you to learn about them like you just did. Okay. You can direct your echoes to attack specific targets by using target with ZL, yes. I might remove these. Really fascinating. I was not expecting to be able to do that. I'll look at the other echoes that I can summon and see if they might also be used in various ways against enemies. Or I can try this. Do you think this is just going to summon a Zol that attacks on my behalf? Let's find out. I'll lift you and throw you at the other Zol and see if that works in my favor. Yep, okay. It looks like because they are the same monster, they actually do battle with one another and both die. That's really cool. Obviously a huge departure from previous Zelda games, but a lot of fun. I'm not sure what you're talking about, AJ, when you say climbing on something. If you want me to climb on something... Oh, I see. You mean for dropping things onto enemies. Yeah, I suppose if I were to go on a higher surface and then conjure, that would be your falling animation. Let's see if that actually happens. I'm assuming that's what would happen. Let me create a platform here. And if I were to drop a boulder here, I'm assuming that would be an attack of sorts. Potentially. I would have to really test that out in order to know for certain. Oh, these enemies. Remember those from Wind Waker? Well, let's see if they operate in the same way. Maybe if I walk into it, it'll harm me. Yeah, so these are not the ones from Wind Waker. Understood. Alright, well let's try a pot once again. I don't think I guess a wooden box would work for this as well, because Zelda can lift them. Oh, that didn't look very effective. Maybe that hit the wall, in actual fact. No, that does not work whatsoever. So we will try the pot. I have a suspicion that the pot will be more effective. Turns out it's not. Okay. Well, getting past these guys shouldn't be too difficult. I would just jump over them using a platform of sorts, but I was hoping we'd be able to do damage to them in some way. Alright, we'll try a platform for now. I think an old bed will do. I like how they go to the trouble of telling us that it's an old bed. I very much enjoy summoning a Zol to fight the other Zol. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, they're encouraging me to look around with R, which is a great point. It's something that I should be utilizing to my benefit. The camera controls, that is. We can see on the mini-map, which I'm, I believe, covering, which therefore encourages me to instead put myself on this side. Weirdly, the screen... See how the... Well, I'm not even going to draw your attention to it. My apologies. I don't really need to get into the business of producing my live stream while live, and therefore involving you all in it, but... Oh, we've got a fish. Wonder how we would catch fish. Have to wait for the appropriate echo, I suspect. But anyway, I'm going to stay on the left side here, because that way you can actually see the minimap. The decision that I come to, as far as putting myself on the left or right, is dependent upon what I would be blocking if I were to put myself in a particular corner, and it seems like there's nothing really in the way. Or I wouldn't be in the way of anything by putting myself on the left side. So that's what I'm going to do. Of course, one solution would be to have sort of a border around the video game, so that way I'm not actually covering anything whatsoever. But I hate that. I hate that a lot. I think it looks like crap, and I'm not going to do things that way. So, with that having been said, actually, I don't know if I want to go that way first, and I'll tell you why. It's because there was another way forward in this direction. If I continue towards this entranceway, there's every likelihood that I'll forget completely to actually go over here. And in fact, I can see that there's a chest, so that would have been a terrible mistake to walk away from this, because rather than another direction for me to go in, this is just gaining access to... can I summon something underneath myself? Perhaps not. That'll do. Yeah, that would have been a case of me just missing out on free rupees, basically. You got 20 rupees, excellent. Yeah, I should try to kill these guys to learn their echo, I think you're right. Well, maybe a Zol can attack them. Nope, that was ineffective. At least he does attempt to kill it, but... maybe this is a case where I have to test out my theory. Well, I shouldn't say my theory, it's more like AJ's theory in the chat. Of positioning myself above the enemy and then dropping a boulder. Maybe that will work. There we are. Cross our fingers. No, I don't think we have enough height. And I can see that there's another platform up there. So maybe we can give that a try. It's a bit slow going, isn't it? Do you think there's a better way of doing this? There must be a better way, because I'm not really... I'm not successful in any way. Or that was not a successful attempt to climb that in any way. I suppose I could try to... maybe I can't get up there yet. Potentially. I do remember the rock echo. What about it? I don't know if that would be useful in this situation. That's why I haven't used it yet. Unless, of course, the rock is considered to be a more damaging projectile than pots. Oh, okay, the rock is bigger than I expected. I will reveal to you why I didn't even think to use the rock. Going back to the days of A Link to the Past, the damage that a pot would do was actually greater than a slash of your sword. So I just had it in my head that the pot was going to be this inordinately powerful projectile that I could launch at everything and just decimate all enemies in my path. This is obviously not the case. I did have a rock, and the rock was what I ultimately needed. Thank you for that hint. Alright. I got the sea urchin echo. Very good. Well, I've got the rock still here to use, so... very good. I have not, however, given up on my task. Alright, let's try to make this work. I don't think this is going to work, is it? And I know why. It's because as I create these little... oh, this is ridiculous. Alright. I've gotten in this habit of removing all of the objects that I've summoned, even though it's not really necessary for me to do so. No, I didn't really want to summon you there. I was thinking that by targeting I'd be able to remove something, but I have to be physically close to it in order to do so. Which is weird. You'd think targeting would be good enough. Alright. Again, I'll have to really pay attention to what I'm doing. It may not be necessary to remove them at all, but... or at least not in that situation. No, I don't want to put you there. Let's put you there. Then here. No, not there. Oh, I think I can see the problem. But of course this isn't going to work because this stack is being supported by the bed that is glowing yellow. So as I create a new bed, that one's going to disappear and then we just fall. So I'm going to give a little bit more thought to how I can possibly get up there. But it may not be possible. I suppose what I would say is that it's a mistake to assume that it's impossible before you've exhausted all options. So I'll look into it further. It's not looking hopeful though, is it? Not really. I should definitely be using this this crate, because the crates that are here, right, or the now single crate that is here, is an object that I didn't need to summon, so I think it is expected that you use this to your advantage. So you can see this is not good enough, not even close to being good enough. So if I drop a tree... Maybe dropping a tree is better. See, it's actually too tall for me to get up onto. Now, what I'm about to show you is why it's important to not rely completely on the fact that the very first out of a group of 3 objects will automatically be removed when you create a new one. It's not good to rely on that, because here, I will actually want this one to stay here. So can I remove you? I cannot. Why not? Go away! Can you see why this is annoying for me? Is there a bigger map? It's a good question. I would assume so. There it is. So it depends on what you've discovered. I should mention that it's not required that I go in this direction. I'm just being a little bit pig-headed about it. I'm assuming, no, I must be able to get up here somehow. How about I destroy you because you're starting to annoy me? I don't think I can get up there. Logically, in my head, I don't think it's possible, because of these objects that I have, I can't cast enough of them to get enough height, can I? I was thinking maybe I could climb this thing, but I can't. I've made every attempt to do so. But of course, this is not my only way forward. I want to make that abundantly clear. Just wondering if there's any way that I can get around the loss of that yellow highlighted bed in creating something else. Like, can I find another casting point in order to mitigate that issue? I don't think so. Let's give up for now. I don't want to be spending forever trying to climb that thing. Our first piece of heart. Well, I'm definitely going to be getting that. And a blue rupee. Okay, B to surface. So it seems that diving is quite automatic. Once you've pressed the A button to dive, it will assume that you want to go as deep as possible. So if I... okay, so you hold the button to dive, and then also hold the button to surface. Understood. That's all entirely reasonable. Let's get over to that heart piece. And because we're using this as a pathway, it really doesn't matter if the ones behind us are disappearing. You got a piece of heart. Now let's see how many are needed. I think it said so in that text there, but I'm assuming that it's 4. Yeah, it's 4 in this game. Remember when they made it 5? Ugh, Twilight Princess. It was one of the things that Twilight Princess did that I didn't really understand at the time. Well, I suppose I didn't really try to understand it. I just thought, well, fine, if that's how you want to do it. Very well. There we go. And now, presumably, we drop as many of these things as we can to create a pathway. 3 should do, yep. And now that we have a rock, I remember looking at this before and thinking, oh, there must be a way to destroy these things, because I wouldn't be able to jump over them in order to get into that doorway. But now I do know that I can destroy them with a rock. And as I said, the rock ended up being larger than I thought. Much larger than I thought. Goodbye. Okay. I can just toss it over the other rocks. I wasn't too sure how that would work. Very nice. Got a number of rupees out of that. This is definitely where I want to be now. No other direction for me to go in. It's potentially possible that I did miss another direction for me to go in. Oh, it looks like these are stairs going down. Okay. Going into the beach cave. Alright. Let's save our progress. Let's see how much further we can go. Whoa! Frickin' Case. I'm gonna throw this rock at you and I will kill you with great pleasure. Goodbye. We can learn Case Echoes. Does that mean we can fly? No, presumably when we learn a monster echo, it is actually summoning the monster, which is really interesting. I mean, we don't have a weapon of our own, but we can essentially engage in a form of conjuration. We can summon monsters to help us, which I weirdly was not expecting. I thought that that might be going a little bit too far. I thought that... I'm not sure. Maybe I thought that that would be too... need to think of the word. Too ambitious. A bit too ambitious for the game to do, but no, that's what they've done. So we've got a few choices. We can go up or we can go down, but when I see this wall, it looks like something we can climb. It is indeed something we can climb. So it wasn't really necessary, as you can see, for us to create a platform to get up there. That's why I didn't do so. I immediately thought, no, we can get through there. Now, or get up there. Destroying these. Let's see if my... I shouldn't keep calling it my theory. Let's see if my hope, and indeed AJ's theory, of summoning something from a height will work. Yes, indeed. I don't think we can do that twice, can we? No, because the weight will be sustained by the other rock. Okay, we will destroy that. And I guess... do that. Okay. Do that a few more times. No, sir. Not what I wanted to do. Gravity is definitely a thing. Definitely something we can make use of. We've already got 2 pieces of heart, and it feels like we've only just started the game. That's encouraging. Got a bit of a Zelda 2 side-scrolling situation going on here. We could also, if we're being a little mischievous, say that it's a bit Zelda CDI, but comparing this game to Zelda CDI would be a grave disservice to this game. Oh my god. I see. So if they begin their attacks at the same time, then they end up killing each other. But turns out that it depends who gets the jump on the other person. So purely coincidentally, yeah, see, if they attack at the same time, they kill each other. And coincidentally, that is how it played out every time prior. But if the enemy attacks our Zol first, the Zol dies. If our Zol attacks the other one first, it survives and kills the other, which is interesting. Definitely worth keeping that in mind, because it means that the summoning actually can be better or worse depending on the timing of your summoning. So your timing really is important, which is excellent. You know, that is a level of detail that I really want, because that means it's got a combat element to it, isn't it? It's not just the summoning. It's not, oh, you summon the Zol and then it does the work for you. Figuring out the correct timing to do it makes it more interactive as a combat system. Really good. Very, very impressed with that. Not that the feature or the thought to implement the feature in that way is really impressive. It's just that it's so easy to mess these things up, isn't it? They haven't really done a combat system like this before, but I'm very happy to see that they've done it. I guess the word happy and pleased would be more appropriate than impressed. I'm not impressed by it, but I'm pleased to see that it's been done that way. I guess spamming multiple slimes is an option as well. Yeah, you can do it that way. I don't really see a need for it, personally. Well, my little theory that timing was important has just been sort of eliminated by the realization that I could just summon several and then gain an advantage that way, but I'm sure timing will still be important later on. Yes, come, well, don't place it there. And another chest. Our second chest so far. Is it rupees? We have yet to see if anything other than rupees is contained within these chests. I just jumped on that frickin' tree. Was not expecting that. Must destroy all grass and shrubbery in the early game. We are in Soothorn Village. Honestly, the shrubbery in this game is huge compared to our character, or maybe it's always been that way. It's just much more obvious now in this very 3D environment. Alright, what's happening with you? Oh, welcome to Soothorn Village. He obviously doesn't sound like that. He just, when he yelled out like that, he sounded a bit that way. It's usually nice and quiet here. I can't really get a voice for him, but that's alright. But now, things are terrible. If only Link were here. Who's Link? What do you mean, who's Link? Come on. I understand the player might not know who Link is, but this is a role-playing game. Zelda is supposed to know who Link is. Quite intimately familiar with the identity of this person. What happened? A rift appeared north of here, and it grew so fast that one of us got caught inside. What's worse, we can't even run to Hyrule Castle for help. The rift is blocking the way there. This is true. If only Link were here. Talk to you later. Please, you stay safe out there. Will do. I'm actually not sure what Monty Python reference uses the word shrubbery, but that's fine. It's been a little while since I saw those films. Can I learn your echo? I was able to target you very briefly. Or it looked that way anyway. Maybe it was actually the arrow coming off try, and I thought that it was a targeting indicator for the bird. Perhaps not. I can go behind. And I got a rupee for my trouble. Did you see his eyes just bulge very briefly? That's kind of funny. A rift swallowed up one of my neighbors. There must be something we can do, besides pacing. Can I go into this well? I don't know if I want to go into that well just yet. Is that a trampoline? Pressing the wrong button as usual. You learned the trampoline echo. Very nice. I got a trampoline. What a great gift. You can play with it too. The rift nearby is huge, and it's terrifying being so close to our village. It could be in Soothorn Forest too. A strange old man lives there. I hope he's okay. Looks like we've got a shop. This will be our first shop, and there's a piece of heart in the shop. Very Phantom Hourglass-like. So buying heart pieces in a shop is not something that you would really see until much later in the game, if you were playing an older game. Like, let's take Wind Waker, for example. In Wind Waker, I don't believe that there was a heart piece available for sale until you got to the gold masked salesman or whatever, but I seem to think that the first time I saw a heart piece in Phantom Hourglass was actually in a shop rather than out in the field. I've got a feeling that that's how it was. The gold masked salesman, as opposed to Beedle, he was in Phantom Hourglass as well, but I'm quite sure someone else was selling heart pieces somewhere really random, somewhere that you wouldn't expect it. What's the cost? 80 rupees. I was not expecting it to be affordable. What is going on? For now, I am just browsing. Oh, okay. Oh, right. That means that there's nothing there, of course. Red potion. 30 rupees. Well, I have no reason to really get potions right now. Floral nectar. But it's good to actually check to see what all of these items are, because sometimes you can be introduced to future features of the game by checking this stuff. Sweet nectar with a floral scent. When used in a drink, it boosts the effects of other ingredients. Okay, so there is going to be a bit of a potion making aspect to this game, which I'm not averse to in any way. I won't take that now. I think I might use my rupees on this heart piece after all. I was not expecting to be able to afford it, as I said, but I'll take it. Yeah, based on the fact that we're only on the third part, and we've already got 3 heart pieces, I think there are going to be a lot in this game. We've almost got a new heart container. But I think the number of hearts, based on the introduction, right? It's the same number of hearts as before. I think it's 20. I could be wrong about that. Could be 24. I don't remember if it's a line of 12 or 10 for the hearts. I just don't remember. Because the last time I counted them would have been a long time ago. But whether it's 20 or 24, it seems to be the same number as the previous game. So I actually don't think there's going to be more heart pieces than in previous games, because it's still divided up into quarters. So, yeah, just strangely we're being given access to a lot of them. Welcome, Potion Sweets. You'll find a tasty selection here at Soothorn's shop. Come on in, take a look. How can I help you? Apparently we can sell things with him. I don't know if we've got anything worth selling. Shall we check? I'd love to buy from you, but it appears you don't have anything you can sell to me at the moment. Okay. There we go. Not necessarily, AJ, because the number of bosses is going to change depending on... Oh, well, no, if I think of a game that has... Yeah, I guess I could work it out that way, but still. I'm not going to sit here and figure that out now. That's going to be it for this first part. Not for the live stream. Those of you watching live, do stay tuned. We're just changing to the next part for the VOD. I'll see you guys in the next part for the Echoes of Wisdom live stream series, doing a live with Doomlink, and I'll see you guys once we return and then presumably progress through to the next area. We'll adventure through the village a little bit more and then see what else the game has in store. I'll see you then.